This is Powercast, a podcast where we talk about everything power sports related, dedicated to removing the blurry lines between consumer and dealerships, with direct comparisons, interviews, and insights to help the dealerships reach the right consumer. All right, everyone, this is Powercast, but it also is a special segment known as Minicast. So the Mini Powercast. This is dealership specific focus on marketing, and today's topic we're going to be talking about including video into your social media and advertising platforms. Nicholas, you brought this up to me, and you wanted me to emphasize how video can be used for dealerships widespread, whether or not they're just focused on UTVs, whether or not they're just focused on street bikes. Video is the growing platform. It's on your phone. It's easy to use. So why don't you start me off with a few questions, and then I'll go into a segue.
So first off, probably like why? Does it get more attention? Why video over, say, photos or just text? Or what makes video a better avenue to explore into than any other form of social media or platform that they're doing now?
Okay, well, it goes into basic things. And right now, the number one social media platform is Instagram. It does have a little bit of a younger demographic, but nevertheless, Facebook owns Instagram, so they're going to end up using the same practice and principles. And if you are already doing advertising through Facebook, you can realize that you're also doing advertising through Instagram. But if people are realize that 80% of their traffic is meant through mobile, that means that people are using their phones, people are using their tablets, and it's 100% mobile focus. That's a flick. People are using their thumbs. When you are using your thumb and you're going through an Instagram feed or Facebook feed, you are seeing static photos. But the human eye catches movement. That gives you a pause. And that's why ads cost more when you're doing video. But also the second principle of how it catches people is that all of a sudden now it involves them. Whenever you're going to start making a video, I recommend you try to use these two platforms of either is it educational or is it entertainment. And a dealership can do one or two things. It can focus on its culture that it has. It can also then focus on the brand that it's selling. So, and both of them can be used for educational. Both of them can be used for entertainment. Some people may have lower end ATVs, and you can end up having your employees doing a little bit of a race with them, or they're not even turning them on, but just using their legs and running with them. That's entertainment. That's goofy, and that's something that people can relate to. And when they gives you something your sales guys can use, and it ends up really helping out a culture in general. But the video aspect of advertising allows you to communicate 100% transparency as if they're actually there. And I recommend you go with authentic. There's some people that like to do stage casting, and there's no wrong. Yeah, scripted stage casting, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're just not going to have that much of a relationship with the consumer. We're in a very, very crazy stage now with marketing where outside influence is better than inside influence. And what I mean by that is that you can talk. I'm going to talk about Triumph. Triumph is the best brand there is, and I'm a Triumph dealership, and I'm going to always say, of course that's what I'm going to say, and of course that's what the consumer is going to expect you to say. So there's a wall. But if you have outside influence, and that's where you have the authenticity. If you had someone that does reviews in your area or anything like that, and you just have your average Joe dude just talking like, hey, I just want to talk to you about this Triumph that we have. You don't mention how it's the best in the industry. You don't mention anything like that. You just talk about the product, and now it's more genuine. It's less about XYZ Power Sports said this. It's more about Joe from XYZ said this. That's a little bit different.
A little bit non-biased.
Yeah, it's non-biased and stuff like that. So that's what I think video is really good for.
So next then I would ask, as a dealership, do I need to spend thousands of dollars in camera equipment to get started into it?
No. Impulsively, no. Now, that's also going to be based on the talent that you have. So if you have a really talented person, he's going to be able to use his phone to get away with it. And his talent's going to be in being able to video edit, being able to use platforms, stuff like that. But if you just have a regular sales dude and you're just trying to get this all together, if you're just your own little owner, your phone is still good too, but you're not going to be able to know the settings and everything like that. So I think my suggestion is that you would first walk into using your phone and basic media cameras like that, and then I really don't think you need more than $500 investment in supplies when you really start using it as a norm, because you're going to be able to, your learning curve is going to be gone, and you're actually going to be able to have this substance that's of quality and doesn't look like your shaky camera phone, versus where you actually have some high quality pictures, you actually have a tripod, and that kind of stability will recognize into your brand. You have a very interesting perspective of where you are professional versus you are personable. And so you need to find that inner ground. And that's why I say you don't need to spend $1,000, but I don't recommend forever using your phone, because you want to find that this is personal, but it's also professional.
Okay. So in the spirit of video, what's your feelings about just a video highlight of a vehicle, like no talking, no nothing, just kind of videoing it, versus having a person go over it, voice over it, kind of being a little bit more personable? Is there a difference? Which one should a dealership be leaning to? Is one lead into the other?
Yeah. So you can actually do both, and both of them have their own strategies and tactics behind them. Um, I recommend that you would do a detailed walk around of a vehicle quietly and everything like that, but you have to keep that video short. Anyone that's wants a long video, wants details, they want to listen to someone talk about it. But if you're doing a short video, you just need to show the highlight and specs of it that's coming out to it. And you also can use that 15-second, 30-second video for display advertisements on YouTube, or if you're, it's also cheaper for it. Most people are under a minute of watching a video unless they actually want to go after it. The long video, or the person that's talking about a video, maybe he goes on a ride with it, is actually going to be beneficial for you if someone's really looking into buying that really a specific bike. Well, the short video is like, hey, look at this bike. You may not have known about this bike, but hey, look at it. While the other one's more like, hey man, I've been thinking about getting that Thruxton, and oh wow, it has that kind of shocks on the back, the OEM. What? Okay. And you can go into that kind of aspect of talking about it. And that's when someone wants to. So the long, detailed dealership talking video is more or less for the person that wants to know more information about it, but doesn't want to go to the store and have sales guys ask him questions. He just wants to know the information. And it also builds up your credibility in you knowing what you're talking about, versus also, again, that's the education versus entertainment. Look how clean this looks. Look how much horsepower this has. And so that's the entertainment aspect.
Okay. So then let's get into, once they start getting into video, what's kind of a ratio? Do they drop images completely? Is it like a 40 50, kind of
Okay, yeah.
between
So
the two?
any kind of video you do, I always recommend uploading it to YouTube. All right, that's just a good platform basis. You have your channel, people are going to look for it. Always start your description into YouTube platform to be the name of the vehicle, because that's what's going to happen is people are going to be looking for that name of the vehicle, and then they're hoping that the review is coming up on YouTube. Now, of overall your other social media platforms or even your website, if you have the ability to put your video on your product pages, do that, but you still are going to include the still images. And the reason why you're going to include the still images and you're still going to be making static images is because of people on mobile. They may not have Wi-Fi, they may have bad connection, video won't load. So someone that's just perusing while they're at grandma's or something, they're going to be, hey, I can't see this video, and they're not going to get into contact. But yet you'll have the pictures I'll upload that they can still use. Another aspect of going even deeper into social media is that it's much easier in production to make static images than it is to make a video. For a dealership, you can actually make static images, put your logo on stock photos, and just boom, 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 send them out. Most major manufacturers, they have a marketing portal, a portal that you can use to then you just lay on your graphic on it and send it out and just talk about the bike. And yes, you still want to do that, because if anyone likes a photo, anything that they like of a picture that you can do more of and have more production of, they will eventually see the video more likely quicker because they liked your other previous content.
So in closing, like, give me kind of just a quick summary of how to start to full-blown production.
Okay, just on video production?
Just bullet points.
Okay, video production, you have to first know what you're, again, like you're writing a story, your beginning, your middle, the end, and what direction you're going to go in. Is it entertainment, education? Then after that, you're going to have to be like, what's my rough time estimate? So what direction you're going to go in, what's your time, and then you kind of just do it. And the only way that you're going to be able to learn to make it better is from doing it. And I recommend you always film everything in landscape, even though people are like, what about Instagram? Instagram just recently announced that they're still acknowledging portrait filming, but landscape is the default because now you can share that across mediums. When you make a landscape landscape video, you can use it for Instagram, you can use it for Facebook, you can use it for YouTube, and you don't have to change it. Well, if you did portrait beforehand, you can only use it for Instagram. That's not the purpose of your marketing. Your marketing is supposed to hit a wide spread of people. So make sure you have the direction you're going, make sure you have a time frame, and then you do it. Then after that, of production, don't spend a lot of time on it. There is a good balance of like making sure you put quality out there, but if you focus yourself and force yourself, you can learn very easily of these Adobe programs like Premiere Pro and After Effects from using them. But don't try to be like, oh, I'm trying to do this really cool smoke effect and everything. No, worry about what's inside your limits and get information out there first. So, and the information that you want to get out there is just bring an awareness. And then if anything, I would put in always a call to action of an email or a test ride number or a call number that they can use to come to your dealership.
Okay, so I have heard from a couple other people who have given a little bit of advice on video. They say on every single video you do, there needs to be a call to action. What do you think about people who are demanding it?
I don't believe that every video needs to be a call to action because, once again, the person that's looking at it's like, I don't care. Another ad. And you don't want to be ad. You want to build a community. You want to be personable. I do recommend do have some call to action, but it's almost like a 1 to 3. Every third video, maybe put a call to action on it. But if your call to action should be outside of your video and more into descriptions, more into wherever that platform is going. Because if they want to do it, they can do it. They'll find a way. Your logo should be there. Your name of your company should be there. But you don't have to be the 1990s guy going like, come down to my dealership and buy this at a low cost. No, we're moving away from TV. It's more about entertainment and education.
Okay, so when you're making a video, you said you don't want it to feel scripted. You want it to feel natural. Should they have some kind of outline of where they want to go with it? Like, how would you set up almost not a script, because like you said, you don't want a script, but more of an outline of where it's going to go?
You want authenticity. So what I would recommend is that you want to outline it where you talk about is that if you're talking about a specific motorcycle, you're going to want to know that motorcycle in detail. And then you're just going to talk about that motorcycle from the detail you thought was interesting. If you are a motorcycle person selling motorcycles, talk about what's cool about it. Like some people get in this a little bit of a, I guess you would say like trap, where they'll read a brochure and next thing you know, they're like, this rubber hand grip was made in blah, 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 and go over too much in detail and it sounds robotic. And honestly, despite there are some comfortable hand grips out there, I'm pretty sure most people care about the horsepower, the type of brakes, what comes stock with it. And that's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on the cool, natural details that are AKA the selling points.
So basically make a list of, like you said, the selling points of kind of things you want to make sure you hit, and then go from there.
That's a great way of saying it. Yeah, bullet points of
things you want to make sure you mention, and then have your natural, charismatic sales guy kind of fill in the details around those selling topics.
Yeah, like you don't want to write down, this is a really cool bike. It has this and this feature. No, you want the guy to be like, so we got this bike and it's kind of cool. And that is a personal approach.
So the outline would be more along the lines of horsepower, tire size, traction, safety features, stuff like that, rather than actual full sentences of stuff you want to say.
Just keep away from scripted, keep away from details, bullet points, and then talk about those bullet points.
For audio, how important and how hard is it to get decent audio when you're talking about doing kind of stuff like that? That's
a trick. And so I would recommend, if you're starting out, your audio is going to suck. Audio is tricky. People don't like their voices when they first get into it. People, it's really hard. This podcast is very hard on us, and we've had some audio problems already. And it seems like you always have audio problems. But the things you can do is there's cheap mics that you can get that connect to your phone. You put the phone in the pocket, you hit record, you put it on the collar. That will help out. Also, you could just record the footage of the vehicle and then privately in a closed air environment do the recording separately. Yeah. And then if you do want to have the TV approach of a guy in front of a vehicle talking about the vehicle, just know that in some of the effects you can do voice enhancers, you can do equalizing and stuff like that. And you know what, sometimes I know I made some production videos for products before where I was just like, you know what, I'm just cutting out the video and I'm cutting out the audio and I'm just focusing on the bike, and you're gonna have to make that pivot, and that's okay. What is important is that you are able to give out that people understand it. You don't want to make the journey of them watching that video miserable and be like, what did he say? Or, man, this sounds horrible, my ears are bleeding. No, you want make that comfortable for the consumer in one way or another.
Maybe coming in 30 minutes early to the dealership before anybody else gets there, or staying after to kind of get a little bit better audio.
That's talking about the low end, like this is a sales guy trying to do it and everything like that thing. But yeah, setting a time to record it before or after a quiet environment is important. But again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with you highlighting the video, putting in the graphics about the specs of the vehicle, and then 3 days later having someone talk about those specs while they're watching that video.
Okay, very insightful.
All right, so that's the mini cast. It's really Dealership First Focus. We try to keep it short, simple, and we hope it was useful for you.